under pressure. Donald got there in the air, intercepted by the Rams, and they may ride to the Super Bowl on that.
This is for you, Kings fans, wherever you may be. All the frustration and disappointment of the past is gone. The 45-year drought is over. The Los Angeles Kings are indeed the kings of the National Hockey League. They are the 2012 Stanley Cup champions.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here on Dime Dropper for the 2024-25 season. Before we get started, you already know the drill. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube at Dime Dropper for all things LA sports and LA basketball. Hit the notification bell so you know every single time I go live or post a video. You're home for all things Clippers and Lakers. Today, we're going to do a little double dose. Clippers, Bucks, Lakers, Blazers from last night. Of course, with the current circumstances of the uncertainty in my living situation and whatnot, I can't just go live every night the same way I used to until I find permanent accommodations. So, yeah, I'm just trying to go live as much as I can and still talk about as many games as I can for the remainder of this season. So super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. Any donation is appreciated. We are live from Los Angeles as always. Let's start out with the game. Clippers, Bucks, and then Laker fans. If you're just here for the Laker portion of the video, it will be timestamped for you. Man, that was a rough one, Clipper Nation, last night against the Milwaukee Bucks. We lost 116-110. And honestly, come out with a good first quarter, get punched in the mouth a little bit in the second quarter, close the second quarter with some momentum. Third quarter looked like one of the best defensive quarters that we've seen from the Clippers all season long. Chris Dunn, Kawhi Leonard even, they were all over the place. Super active hands, getting more physical. Zubats was coming up a little higher. He was still in drop coverage, but he was not dropping as deep. He was still kind of, stunting for a sec onto guys like Dame and AJ Green who were coming off those screens for threes. So we overall were able to create 9 turnovers in that third quarter. And Kawhi in that third quarter in the beginning of the fourth started to pick up steam. And I felt as though we were about to be smooth sailing and getting a sweep this season on the Bucks. But that would not be the case in this one. We were up by 12, 98-86 in that fourth quarter. And yeah, we completely collapsed. So let's talk about why we collapsed. On my episode last night on Locked On Clippers, I said the first thing you got to look at is the stars. This is a stars league. They do have the best player on the floor, unfortunately. The days of Kawhi Leonard being better than Giannis ended after Giannis won the ring. Kawhi just hasn't been healthy enough for that. Kawhi stans are the only people that would realistically disagree. Maybe some Clipper fans who are really into that kind of game. And you're looking at a guy who's really into that kind of game. Skill, 3-level scoring, post-game fundamentals. Giannis is a freak of nature, the Greek freak, but his game-to-game impact, you can't really compare to Kawhi. And right now, in terms of health, they're nowhere near on the same planet. So, we don't have that advantage of it's the best player in a close game. And Damian Lillard, historically of those 4, I'd say he's the best closer, even though he's the worst player of those 4 at their peaks. Dame, Harden, Kawhi, and Giannis. But in the end of a game, last shot, Damian Lillard, he's the guy I want out of those 4. Dame time. So what made it annoying, too, is that the Bucks ended up winning the game and Giannis came out because of a minutes restriction, and they still ended up beating us. But that fourth quarter was very frustrating because we outscored them 39-23 in the third, but we got outscored 36-21 in the fourth. And, where do I even begin? Let's start with the stars, as I said. It begins with the stars. Kawhi and Harden, 3 for 9 in the fourth quarter, 8 points in total versus 22 points for Giannis and Dame. So that's going to make a difference. And we lost by 15 in that quarter. We got outscored by 14 by their 2 best players. Now, if I were a Bucks fan, I would say, we did that even with Giannis being pulled out for a minutes restriction. But as a Clipper fan, I'm like, fuck whatever they're doing. We had a chance to win this game on our road trip, and Kawhi Leonard got subbed out after hitting 2 straight shots in the fourth quarter when we were up 98-88 and came out for 2 minutes and 14 seconds, in which we lost that 10-point lead. And by the time he came back in the game, it was a tie game. That was ridiculous. And then we were down by 5. I think it was 104-109 late in the game with like a minute 45 left, and we took him out again. So I don't know. I think that minutes restriction shit is really growing to be annoying. It's growing tiresome is the word I was looking for. I mean, he was, yeah, like because he used to be able to go the whole third quarter is what they did last season, and then he would rest in the beginning of the fourth, and then he would come back in with like 6 minutes left in the game. I kept saying I would prefer Paul George and Kawhi Leonard to switch those minutes, so we'd have Paul George playing the entire third quarter and then have Kawhi playing the whole fourth. Because what would happen is sometimes Paul would have it going when Kawhi would come back in the game, and Kawhi didn't want to step on his toes. But we wanted Kawhi in rhythm in the fourth quarter more than anyone, not Paul George, who can lose you a game just like he could win you a game. And over in Philly, he's losing a lot of games. But my point being that it's not natural for your player, your best player to get a rest, come back in, hit 2 straight shots, and then you take him out of the game because it's this minutes restriction that he's capped at 32 minutes or whatever it is. Let's see how many minutes he got last night. I believe it was 32. It was 32. And then he came back in when it was a tie game, and he missed 3 straight shots. The first one, he was trying to run pick and roll with Amir Coffey as the screener, and Amir Coffey, rolled or slipped, and Kawhi did not release the ball when he should have, and it ended up being him driving into traffic against the set defense and got blocked by Brook Lopez. Second one was a nice pull-up over AJ Green. It was a clean look. Contested, but it's a Kawhi shot. And then the third one was a contested 3 with Kuzma on him because James Harden threw him a grenade with 6 seconds left on the clock. So when you look at the fourth quarter, I think it was a combination of Ty Lue having a rough go, and the whole coaching staff, if they have any say on subs, which I think they do, but ultimately it is Ty's final call. Ty, Kawhi, and Harden. I mean, of course, we didn't have Norm. They're not going to have Bobby Portis for 25 games. This was the first one of the 25-game suspension because he did the wrong drug, Toradol. He wanted to do Tadderall or whatever. I don't even know, man. All these drugs. He did the wrong drug. So he's suspended for 24 more games, which sucks because I like Bobby. But we didn't have Norm. He's our leading scorer this year. So that's significant. And it made our offense a lot more stagnant because we didn't have Norm's threat of, coming off screens and coming off that curl that he loves to come left to right. So without having a little bit of movement in the offense and, of course, that downhill threat and that ability to work off the catch, that sucked. But you know what I found very interesting, and honestly I didn't like it, was that Ty started Amir instead of Derek. I don't know why Derek has been better than Amir this year, in my opinion, at least. I think a lot of people would argue Amir because of his shooting splits, but I think Derek, he's a guy who's proven to be a starter on a finals team. He's been fantastic defensively this season. He's been so great for our athleticism, our transition game, but his consistency defensively and then shooting the ball at 37% from 3 for the season, I think that is huge. He's been amazing. He's been godsend. He recently got put on the bench because Kawhi's back and they're deciding who do they want, Chris Dunn or Derek. They've kind of flip-flopped depending on matchups, but it feels like Chris Dunn is that guy now, which is fine because Chris Dunn has been an all-defensive level player this season. But I still would prefer Derek over Amir is my thing. I still would prefer Derek over Amir. And what happened was the substitution patterns were so fucked up because, well, not necessarily, but like Amir plays, he rests, Derek plays for him. Instead, like the beginning of the second quarter, late first quarter. Then you go back to your starters as the half goes on. So you go back to Amir. So the same thing happens in the second half. So then we're closing with Amir. And I mean, the thing about Amir is that he's not the smartest defender. At times he'll fall asleep off the ball, overhelp. I think he's pretty good on the ball. I think actually, what he'll do is his ball denial will be very good at times. He's got good size, but he doesn't really. He's not a play creator. He's not a playmaker, I should say. He's more of a play finisher. And then defensively, he is he's solid at best, I would say. He's pretty good, but I don't know. There's some people that think he's like awful on defense. I would love to hear why, because everyone just says that, but they don't really give me reasons why. I think he can fall asleep off the ball defensively a good amount. But he's a dumb okay, I don't like using that word. He's not the smartest defender. Those 2 fouls last night were really bad. But I also think you can't like get over a screen in today's NBA. Like, it's ridiculous, like what they're calling. Like, but still, I mean, look, you can't touch guys. I guess you got to concede that if they're after a screen is set, you've given up an advantage, and yeah, you have to fight around it. Like, I don't even know what to say, man. Like, those were very frustrating. But what sucked is that after the second foul, Ty Lue didn't take him out of the game. He should have been taken out of the game for Derek or Bogey. I don't understand why. I don't think Amir Coffey should be higher in the pecking order than Derek. Not like Derek was having the best game. KPJ scored some nice buckets on him, funny enough. And AJ Green hit some threes coming off screens with him in his rear view, but it wasn't necessarily terrible defense. And then there were 2 times where he went into traffic and lost the ball, Derek Jones, where he didn't see the help coming. But I still would rather have him over Amir. Bogdanovich is another guy that's interesting because I thought he did a lot of really good things. He was in the passing lanes defensively. We actually were comfortable switching Harden, and Kawhi onto Brook Lopez when we'd have Zubac switch on to Giannis. Because, as I said, I thought maybe they'd start Zubac on Giannis, which we've seen in the past because he's so strong. Giannis can't just completely overpower Zoo. Zoo's going to let him shoot. And you'd rather have Giannis shoot than get 2 feet in the paint or bully you by bullying you or blowing by you like he so often can. So, but we didn't do that. We actually started Kawhi on him, and Giannis guarded Kawhi, and then, of course, switching 1 through 4. But at times we would switch Bogey, Harden, and Kawhi, who we felt were strong enough to keep Brook Lopez out of like the low post, and then have Zubac guarding Giannis, which didn't go too well in the possessions that he had him doing it. But this fool Brook Lopez was making some ridiculous shots, man. But he's done it for a while. But not the long threes. That was when he came to Milwaukee, he started doing that. It's like insane. But again, goes to show, a lot of those deep mid-range shooters, when they were asked to expand, they expanded. Because Brook Lopez had a really good shot from like 18 feet, but that wasn't asked of centers back then. But the range, though, that's like an extra thing he's put on it. Because like shooting threes behind the line is one thing, but like he's shooting from like 30. But anyway, it's funny because I went to a Laker game in 2018 when he was on the Lakers, and he had 3 straight threes. And it was so funny because the 4th one he pulled from so far, but maybe that was like foreshadowing. He had a great career. I used to adamantly defend Brook Lopez when I was in high school and say he was like the most underrated center in the NBA on the Nets. Like, I loved him. But, that was frustrating the way he was making shots last night. And the way in the 4th quarter, I didn't mention this, the fact that we didn't give Zubac the ball, and we tried to look for him, but the spacing wasn't too great because we had Chris Dunn out there. But still, it's like he doesn't get 1 shot off in the 4th quarter. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Not 1 shot off in the 4th quarter. How many times can we have this discussion about Zoo and how little he gets used when it counts? I don't know. Brook Lopez did a good job when he was guarding Zoo, but let me just say this. How does Damian Lillard and James Harden and Norman Powell get every single little hand check and bump call, but Zubac gets 2 hands on the back pushing him and they don't call anything? It's crazy how perimeter players are protected in today's game. It really allows the game to be played the way it does. It's just we don't talk about these things enough. But, it's very disappointing in my opinion when we don't talk about that. Because like you can't fight over screens with your hands at all. You can't get your arm in there and try to, do something. You got to really just run around it. So, I mean, you can't get physical and bump. Like, it's hard. But in the post, you can bump Zubac all day. Like, it's so ridiculous. But anyway, and then Brook Lopez was getting away with a defensive 3-second violation at times in the 4th quarter. They were not calling. That was really frustrating. But like the ref wasn't even counting. Like, I get it when it's counting and they're, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, hokey pokey, but usually you can still get your advantage when they're doing that because you can't just camp in the paint. But I'm not trying to make excuses. Ty Lue playing Amir Coffey so much, that was a big mistake. Bogdanovich, should have potentially played, or Derrick Jones Jr. Honestly, Clipper Nation, you can let me know in the comments who would you have rather had close, Derrick Jones Jr. or Bogdanovich to close that game. The only thing I'll say about Bogey is he's doing that thing that I hate about some players today, where he's passing up wide open threes, and then he instead takes like a rhythm dribble to shoot a contested three, or doesn't step in. He shoots that, he pump fake, shoots it, and the guy's right behind his head. Like, that's not, I don't think that's good basketball. It's not smart basketball. Like, you get him in the air, and then just take your open shots, man. Just take your open shots. But overall, I love what Bogey's bringing to the table. And I love that link up, he had with Ben Simmons a couple of times where Ben was in the dunker spot. And look, I really like what Ben Simmons brings. You're just not going to play him with Chris Dunn and Zoo probably because of the spacing. But, man, I mean, his rebounding, his pace pushing. When teams are leaving him open, what he's going to do is he's going to pitch it to someone and then set a screen to them. They're going into open space because Ben's man is sagged off so much. So that's going to be fun to see. I like what I've seen from Ben so far. His contests. There were a couple of times, though, yesterday where he was, showing what side. He was basically getting ready to go over a screen too early, and Giannis just rejected the screen and got downhill. But, yeah, my more overall point is we had a chance. We were up by 12 in the fourth quarter, and we didn't close well. And I think it's a combination of Ty making some bad calls, Zoo not getting fed for the millionth time. Oh, I haven't even talked about Harden at all. Man, I'm so nice now, guys. You see, like, these Harden stands are so annoying that it's taken me 17 minutes to talk about the fact that, oh no, I did mention him in the beginning, but just not in depth like I did Kawhi. I mean, I also kind of blamed everything on Ty, so that's kind of making excuses for Kawhi. But I will say this, like, Kawhi's missing shots. He's not really getting by guys. That's just the facts of the matter. He's not been getting by guys for a couple of years consistently, quite frankly. The thing that's a little concerning is that he's not making his Kawhi shots as frequently. But 25 points in 2 consecutive games. I said on Locked On, if he has 4 straight games of 25 or more, that will let me know that he's kind of trending in the direction that we need. So I'm actually happy with that 25. We just need to take the fucking shackles off of this minutes restriction if we want to stay in the playoff spots. All I want to see is our defense be allowed to play more physical with playoff basketball and see how many of these lames on the other teams can handle it. Because when you get Chris Dunn and Derrick Jones Jr. getting away with a little more hand checking, getting away with a little more bumping off the ball, with Ben Simmons, with Kawhi, with Zoo, let's see how you can handle it with that Intuit Dome crowd behind us. We'll see. But let me just say that, yeah, I'm not trying to make excuses for Kawhi. That he can be better making shots, but I thought he was trending in the right direction yesterday. James Harden in the fourth quarter, I mean, that pass he threw, that bounce pass was way risky, and it was a really difficult pass because it was like a lead bounce pass with his left hand, and it was like 3 bodies around. And then he missed Amir Coffey at the top. And that's rare that James Harden makes the wrong read. And it's easy for me to say watching it on the screen. He's actually out there doing it, and the defense looked great. But the hooking Taurean Prince, like the not playing basketball, I mean, look, that's part of the reason why I say the things I do about James Harden. And I thought a lot of him and Kawhi, the process was horrific last night. Our offense, when Norm's out, is just Kawhi or Harden pick and roll, occasional throw down to Zoo, or Kawhi and Harden isolation. That's basically our whole offense. And with Kawhi and Harden, that's what your offense is going to be. They're not movement guys. So you're going to run stuff to try to maximize their value. And it's going to be slow and it's going to be stagnant. It's their job to work a little quicker. Harden was dribbling a lot and taking a lot of bad threes. And he constantly looks to get fouled on threes. I was watching on the Bucks broadcast. They made a comment about it. I mean, I just don't make comments about it because he's on our team. We watch it every night and I've become numb to it now. But don't. On my own channel, I remind everybody when I watch, because I want to emphasize, it's not that I'm trying to take digs at Harden, but it's that I'm trying to remind everybody that every single game, if you're next to me watching it, I'm disgusted by some of the things that the guy does. It's just he just looks for fouls to such an egregious extent. And then look, it hurt us last night. It hurt us last night. It's not like it's the first time I've seen it in his career. So I'm just not going to say much besides that. His defense wasn't good enough, though. He's been playing better defense, though. I've been giving him credit. He's had some good defensive games over the last month or two. But yesterday he was over-helping at times, falling asleep defensively off the ball. He was responsible for 11 or 12 points. Nico and Derrick Jones, Joe, when they were guarding KPJ, it wasn't that much better. So they were kind of getting cooked. How about KPJ with a little revenge game? He was pretty decent last night. But anyway, Let's talk about some more specific things. So the way we started the game, Chris Dunn was on Damian Lillard. By the way, if you're here for the Lakers, stay tuned. I'm going to be talking about their winning against the Blazers. As part of our regularly scheduled programming, it feels good to be talking about LA basketball again, fellas. And I appreciate that. This is not the ideal time for lives for this channel. I'm a nighttime channel, but we'll take the 26 people in here. Hopefully just starting to build a routine that I'm going to be going live a lot more and a lot more during the day, everybody. I know it doesn't matter for the people listening on audio, but for the people that are watching on YouTube, I'm going to be going live during the day more to talk about the general league outside of LA as this season winds down. I'll even be asking people to come on stage. We'll be reacting to other people's videos. So stuff like that would be pretty nice right here on StreamYard. And if we don't like the quality of StreamYard, I will go with Playback, which I have a channel as well. So let's talk about the specifics. Chris Dunn on Dame, James Harden on Kuz. By the way, it was my first time watching Kyle Kuzma play in a Milwaukee Bucks uniform, and he hit that ridiculous shot at the end of the first quarter. Amir Coffey was guarding Taurean Prince. Ivica Zubac on Brook Lopez. Kawhi on Giannis. By the way, the Bucks are the second highest three-point shooting team in the league by percentage. Glenn Rivers' crew. Dame was on Chris Dunn. Taurean Prince on James Harden. Kyle Kuzma on Amir Coffey. Giannis on Kawhi. And, of course, Lopez on Zubac. Lopez was in drop coverage on Harden. At times, though, he was switching on to Kawhi. So then Giannis could then guard Zoo, and that's a good switch for them, that 4-5 switch, because and that's an issue, right? If Kawhi is not exploiting Brook Lopez off the bounce, that's a cause for a little bit of concern. A little bit. Now, what else we got? I already talked about us switching Zoo on the Giannis and Kawhi Leonard and Bogey on a Lopez. Harden had a decent start. He had 8 points in the first quarter, but there were 3 times that he overhelped on a three-point shooter or fell asleep off the ball. So it was like he scored 8, but I can't say he scored 8 and allowed 9 because the assists he got as well. But, it was a good offensive quarter, not a great defensive quarter. Kawhi, I like that he came out aggressive. He had those 5 points early, but Kyle Kuzma's shot making at the end of the first quarter gave the Bucks a 1-point lead. I thought Bogey did a great job right away when he came in. First possession, he came in, he cut to the basket on an inbounds and made a pass, had a couple of nice assists and good interceptions defensively. There was one where he got an interception, then ended up getting a 3 out of it. I thought our small ball lineup in the first half, Bogey, Kawhi, Nico, Derrick Jones Jr., and Ben Simmons did a really solid job. We didn't actually, I think it was a 1-point game when Zoo went out of the game. And then when Zoo came back in the game, it was still a 1-point game. So credit to our small ball lineup. We have a team that has the personnel to be able to pull this off more. A couple of times in that second quarter when the Bucks were getting a run, and it was a lot of it led by Giannis, it was them trying to put Bogdanović in the action. And there were a couple of times where, as I said, Ben Simmons was getting ready to get over the screen one way, and then Giannis would reject the screen and go downhill. They went on an 11-2 run that was led by him coming back in the game. I talked about Bogdanović passing up threes. That started out as early as the first half, so I want to keep an eye on that going forward. Bogey passing up open threes. Kawhi had a stretch in the game very similar to the Toronto game where he was bricking like every jumper, and then he finally made a 3, but he was cold. And I like that he's letting him fly, but again, there's very few easy shots coming for him. Very few. Brook Lopez later in that second quarter made 2 straight deep threes, and we got really stagnant. I've basically touched on almost all these things throughout the breakdown so far. Zoo had a double-double at halftime, Clipper Nation. Double-double at halftime. And we just barely went to him in the fourth quarter. Great finishing around the basket, like always. He was cooking Jericho Sims. It was only the one-on-ones with Brook Lopez because they were letting Brook Lopez foul that he was getting away with shit. And I'm being honest. It's good physical defense, but I'm not going to say it's good physical defense when you're letting Damian Lillard get bumped and calling everything. James Harden's getting these touch fouls when he's shooting floaters and flailing. Like, it's out of control, in my opinion. Like, with the perimeter players getting the advantage that they do. And I'm a guard. I'm a guy that played point guard with a small guard that got hand-checked his whole life. It's like, I just don't get it. We've gone so far in the other direction because people enjoy watching guards play more basketball more. It's more relatable. I get it. Kawhi and Harden were 3 for 10 in the second quarter. So if you look at the 2 quarters that we were bad, there's a direct correlation with Harden and Kawhi's shooting. The only reason why the Bucks were winning by like 7 or 9 points, was it 7 points at halftime, was because of the 3-ball. They were just knocking down the 3-ball. But in the third quarter, I mean, I want to touch on this because it was a positive. The way we were swarming Giannis when he was driving, we forced 2 turnovers on him, getting out and running. We had the Bucks in the penalty early. Chris Dunn had 5 steals already in the third quarter. Kawhi was doing a great job poking the ball away, getting out and running, and started really feeling himself. So it was just amazing to see our defense tighten up like that as a team. Even James Harden getting in on the act, getting some steals or a steal. But it was just a great – and then Zubats was getting touches, whether in the post or on the roll or just running the floor. We had 2 straight wing threes, one from Bogey, one from Harden. But, yeah, it was a great third quarter. We outscored the Bucks 39-23, and then it all went to shit in the fourth, as we know. Is there anything I didn't say? Let's see. I mean, everybody was struggling with Giannis to a degree. I thought the only guy that wasn't really struggling with him much was Kawhi, but they're going to try to find a switch with him every time. Zoo, I can honestly live with the shots he was taking against Zoo, but he seems like he's, practiced that little 8-footer, 10-footer. And the shots he was making on Ben Simmons, honestly, I don't mind either. But everybody else feel like he was getting downhill just a little too easy, but it's Giannis. I think he's the second best player in the league after Jokic, so But that was basically it. Clippers lose it, and it's a tough loss. I mean, what am I going to say? Like, it's a tough loss. By the way, Norman Powell not playing after participating in the 3-point shootout, unless he got, re-aggravated his knee at practice or shoot-around or whatever, which I've not heard any report that says such a thing. I'm not questioning Norm's commitment to the team, but how can we just see you in the 3-point shootout suiting up and you're not playing? Now, I know what you're going to be saying. Shooting threes is way different than playing full-speed basketball. You're 100% right. Here's the thing. I don't give a shit. Don't play in the 3-point shootout. If you cannot suit up for us, don't do the extras. Stay at home, get your treatment, and rest. It's a thing in the NBA. It's just, and I love Norm. I'm advocating for him to replace LeBron and Ant-Man. But the culture around the NBA now, it's just the players can just do whatever they want, and the fans just don't matter. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I don't even, and we had to just watch him shoot all those bricks. Just don't even suit up, bruh. Just the next time we should see you is when you're ready to play. It's just, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that shit. But let's read the lines. We lost 116-110. We dropped to 31-24. And it sucks because the Lakers lost to the Hornets the other night, so we had a chance to take some advantage of that. Bucks were 30-24, and this is their first night of a back-to-back. They're playing again tonight against the Wizards. But the Bucks are 30-24, and they're 19-9 at home. Damian Lillard is doing better in every single statistical category this season than last. So good for him this is his 13th year. And Giannis is having another MVP caliber season, 31.5 points a game, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. It's ridiculous. He's only missed 12 games, so he's still eligible for awards. He just can't miss 6 more, which I think he should be fine. Those are amazing stats. We've become kind of numb to him at this point. We're going to see what Kuzma can do for this team, replacing Chris Middleton. But right now, the Milwaukee Bucks are in 5th place. The Indiana Pacers, since I haven't done a comprehensive episode on the whole league and how they're doing. I usually do that around the All-Star break, but obviously I've been, all over the place since all this has happened to me. But I do plan on doing one. Maybe if there's a break in the Clippers and Lakers schedules, I want to do one before the season ends, maybe the 60-game mark with Fabian and the boys if I can. But I definitely want to, talk about this because last I remember the Pacers were struggling and now they're in 5th place, or 4th place. When did that happen? I know it was a month that I didn't watch basketball, so I'm trying to catch up on all that. The other one that everyone's talking about right now is the Phoenix Suns, the Buns. They're in crisis. I would love to see what's going on with them. And I know what's going on from the outside, but it's nothing like actually watching the games. But anyway, look at the lines for last night. The Bucks, they shot 47.5% from the field. We shot 46.6% from the field. So they shot 0.9% better. From 3, they shot 39.5% from 3. We shot 40% from 3. They shot 85% from the line. We shot 84%. So we were very close in basically every shooting category. Turnover-wise, we turned the ball over 12 times. They turned the ball over 18 times. So the fact that they turned the ball over 18 times and we didn't capitalize, that's a little disappointing. In terms of free throw attempts, that's a difference. 8 more for them as opposed to us, and that made a difference. We shot 8 more field goals, but free throws are much easier than field goals. Let's look at the rotations for the Bucks. 9-man rotation. Jericho Sims played 17 minutes and had a donut with 2 rebounds. Our old friend KPJ played 15 and a half minutes, and boy, was he effective in those 15 and a half. 13 points, 2 assists on 5 for 7 shooting, 0 for 1 from 3, and 3 for 3 from the foul line. Here's the thing. I still stand by that we should have let him go. I don't give a shit. AJ Green, 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. And it's because I think that his style won't translate to the playoffs. But we'll see. If he has one game, he just wins for them. Maybe. But we'll see. AJ Green, 9 points on 3 for 8 shooting. All his shots were threes. Gary Trent Jr., it was funny. James Harden tried attacking him one time like last game, and he got locked up. Shit was depressing. I even said before the game, got to attack Gary Trent. Guess it didn't work, but he only played 22 minutes. He was still a -6 in his minutes. 7 points, 3 assists, 1 steal on 2 for 6 shooting, 1 for 3 from deep, 2 for 2 from the foul line. The starters, Giannis only played 23 minutes and 45 seconds. He had 23 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block, 3 turnovers. Kyle Kuzma, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 turnovers on 4 for 10 shooting, 3 for 7 from 3, and 2 for 3 from the foul line. Taurean Prince had 14 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers on 4 for 9 shooting, 4 for 7 from 3, 2 for 2 from the foul line. And Brook Lopez was also 4 for 7 from 3, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 4 blocks, 2 turnovers on 8 for 14 shooting, 4 for 7 from 3. Dame, we clamped. And a lot of that was Chris Dunn, a little bit of Derrick Jones Jr. as well. 15 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 2 turnovers on 2 for 12 shooting and 2 for 8 from 3 for Damian Lillard. Wow. And then the Clippers. The Clippers. 9-man rotation as well. Nico only got 11 minutes, and honestly, I'd question that just a bit. 3 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal on 1 for 3 shooting, 1 for 2 from 3. Let me say this about Nico as well. Nico, in that Court of Gold series, if anybody has Netflix, you've got to watch that. Nico, like, you can really get to see more about his personality, his leadership. Same with Bogey. It's really awesome to see. Bogey, speaking of which, 20 minutes played, had 15 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and just 1 turnover on 5 for 10 shooting and 4 for 7 from 3. I really like what I'm seeing from Bogey. I just want him to let it fly when he's open. But the defense hasn't been too bad at all. He can work quickly off the catch. He can handle the ball. So it's perfect. He's a real combo guard. Ben Simmons, I thought he was pretty solid. It's just his spacing offers some issues, but 6 points, or his lack of spacing, I guess, or the lack of spacing we get with him. 6 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, no turnovers on 3 for 3 shooting. I mean, there's a great triple single there in 20 minutes. I like what we're seeing from Ben and Bogey. I really like the moves. I miss Terrence, but, he wasn't doing too much. I love him, though, but it was the right move in my opinion. Derrick Jones Jr., just 4 points and 2 rebounds and a turnover on 2 for 4 shooting in 20 minutes. I just don't think Derrick Jones Jr. should only be getting 20 minutes. Then our starters, they all played 30 minutes or more. Amir Coffey getting 10 more minutes than Derrick Jones, Ben Simmons, and Bogey is wild to me. 8 points, 2 rebounds on 3 for 7 shooting and 0 for 1 from 3 and 2 for 2 from the foul line. Now, here's the thing about Brewmaster. We're getting a little out of hand. At least I just think that people are just harsh on social media, quite frankly, but we're going from Terrence Mann isn't good enough and why does everybody like him to now we're attacking the new homegrown guy in a Brewmaster. And we're just saying he sucks. He's not a good basketball player and all this, even though he's having a career year and he's been a big part of a team that's the 2 seed right now. Sorry, number 2 defense right now. It's just like in bad taste, in my opinion. Like, yeah, he's not the best player in the world. He's not the best role player out there, but he's pretty solid. Like, do you want to go play against him? Like, I don't know. Like, he's pretty solid, man. I just think Ty Lue he gave him too long of a leash last night, but I think we got to be careful. Like, just, I don't know. It's like, it feels like we're just the new cool thing now. Is instead of hating on Terrence Mann, it's hating on Amir Coffey because he's the only other homegrown player. It's like, you guys just want all transplants. It's like, I don't know, man. It's nice to have some guys that actually were drafted by your team. If you don't live here, though, I get it. You don't give a shit, but you don't fucking live here, so fuck you. I'm just kidding. I didn't mean to cuss at you, because there are some fans that aren't from LA that are Clipper fans that like act like local fans. Because if you've been with us through this shit, through multiple eras, then like you can relate. But like, I don't know, man. I'm not saying Amir Coffey's the best player in the world, but like some of the criticism I saw on Twitter last night was just like way beyond what he's been doing this season. But it's social media. That's why players should stay off of it. Anyway, Chris Dunn, 5 points, 7 rebounds, 4 of those offensive, 5 assists, 6 steals, 1 block on 2 for 5 shooting. He was really good. Really good. 1 for 1 from 3. That 3 was late. His defense in the third quarter was amazing. I just hope he can make the 65-game threshold and be an all-defensive team guy because he deserves it. You know who else deserves it? This guy, Ivica Zubats, 20 and 15. 1 assist, 1 steal, 4 blocks, 2 turnovers on 8 for 13 shooting. James Harden and Kawhi almost shot 10 more times than him, and they weren't shooting well. It's very frustrating. 4 for 5 from the foul line, too, which is great to see because I've been criticizing his free throw shooting this year. And then Harden, 24 points, 5 boards, 8 dimes, 1 assist, 1 block. 24 points, 5 rebounds, 8 dimes, 1 steal, 1 block, 5 turnovers on 8 for 21 shooting, 6 for 7 from the foul line, 2 for 10 from 3. A lot of threes, a lot of bad threes, a lot of bad process, ball pounding. Hate it. Kawhi Leonard, ball pounding too, but he had 25, which is nice. Minutes restriction was annoying. I mean, James Harden played 39 minutes. That's a lot of minutes. We can give Bogey some more time. We can give Ben Simmons some more time. Like, let's not kill Harden before the playoffs. Kawhi, 25, 4 and 4, 2 steals, 1 turnover on 9 for 22 shooting, 3 for 3 from the foul line, but the bright spot, 4 for 8 from 3. So slowly but surely, we'll take the 25 points, but we can be better closing games. But that's it for the Clippers portion of this one. Now we're going to move on to the Lakers against the Blazers. All right, before I talk about Lakers Blazers, we can see what the comments are saying. What's up, Kenneth? I know we don't like to blame coaches. With that being said, Ty Lue, in my opinion, is the reason we lost. A singular reason we lost. I just never agree with that. Salute, Dime. Rotations killed Clippers last night. Are you on Twitter? If anybody's on Twitter, put your handle in the thing so I can give you a tag. Salute, Dime. Rotations killed Clippers last night. Yeah, I agree. Not a Clippers fan, still love you. What team are you a fan of? Like button. I appreciate that. Howard Marr, Dime. Why do you think Coach Lue is not making an emphasis on giving Zoo the ball? I think it's because it's just not a post-up league. I think that's what it is. Dime, we actually have Clipper fans suggesting to start Ben Simmons at point guard over Harden. Okay, that's insane. Can't make it up. What Clipper fans are saying that, though, bro? Because it seems like Clipper fans all love Harden, except for me. I don't know why people say Ty Lue is a good coach yet, but he's won a championship, and he's taken our team further than any coach ever has. What you mean? There's no reason why this team should be doing as well as it has. It's no excuse for it. DDJ needs more minutes. DJJ deserves respect over Amir. Amir should never get – is this dumping? Amir should never get 30 minutes, bro. It's on Ty Lue. I get it, but I don't put it all on him. Wouldn't it be smarter to stagger Ben and Harden since Harden cannot play off the ball? No, but Harden, if he wants to catch and shoot, he can play off the ball a little bit. True advanced metrics BS. What's good, KB Magic? Oh, let me make sure I take note of this. KB Magic. Dumping. Gotta blame Adam for that. Sad. Who's Adam? Oh, Adam Silver? That was a very painful choke. I remember Shaq used to say about how he was always fouled, but he's so big no one really noticed or cared. I refused to go to a game until Kawhi's off the minutes restriction. Roger Rabbit. It's crazy. Unbelievable last night. What's up, Kill P? Between all that action, Powell gets his 20 usually, though. Yeah. Brian, California. James Harden kills me. If we had more transition baskets, we'd have more balance. I agree, but it's Kawhi and Harden's team. It's not going to be much of a transition team, is it? James Harden is on the Clippers. Those are few and far between, especially with DJJ not in. I just heard AD actually wanted to go to the Clippers because he bought a house there and didn't want to move. Really? Did you see AD prank the shit out of Terrence Mann? No. I feel like it's a mental thing now every time we play in Milwaukee. I hate this player empowerment and load management. West True Blood. What's up, buddy? My guy right there. As a Pacer fan, Pacers are a game up on the Bucks for the 4th seed. I was devastated by the Clipper loss last night. I thought you guys had it. 4th quarter was rough. We can't. The players, we got to blame Adam. This is what every single team in the NBA, a load managing. None of the superstar players anymore. Trust me, that comes from the top. How many turnovers do we have in that 4th quarter? Let's check. 4. 3 of them were Harden. So there you go. Also, what is it with Kuz being able to guard Kawhi so well? I mean, look at his size. That tells you the answer. And Kawhi's not quick anymore. I watched the highlights in the game, and some of the threes the Bucks were hitting in the first half were backbreaking. Yeah, absolutely. Jackson Madison, what's going on, brother? Right in time for your Lakers. Amir Hart and Harden get barely criticized. Harden does dumb things, but we're not 6 in the West without his leadership. I agree. But are we 6 in the West without Amir Coffey shooting this season, especially at home? Yo, Dime, always been a fan of the channel. Thank you, man. You're here for the Lakers? You have a LeBron and AD in your profile. Pull up podcast, bro. What's up? What about? Oh, BJ saying we should start Ben Simmons over James Harden? Oh, Kawhi plays against Indiana. All right. Is it Laker time? I think it is. All right. So I didn't watch this game in as much depth, but let me just say this. There's a couple of things I can say about it. All right. Now we're going to talk about Lakers versus Blazers. Now, this was the second night of a back-to-back after that loss against the Hornets, and I went live to talk about that game. So if you want my full breakdown on that game, it is out on this channel and on podcast format. LeBron played in the second night of a back-to-back, which I found pretty impressive, especially considering his age, but also he didn't play in the All-Star game. So that tells you he could have easily played in the All-Star game. If I'm a Laker fan, I love it. If I'm an NBA fan, I think he's ridiculous. Luka, coming off the injury, did not play on the second night of a back-to-back, which I expected, especially considering he doesn't look very good right now. But what LeBron was able to do after, he kind of emptied the clip in the 4th quarter against Charlotte, it was quite spectacular. Now, he turned the ball over a lot, but, I mean, his shot making, especially his jump shooting, has been really great yet again this season as it was last season. Because remember, in 2023, he did not have a good three-point shooting season. And then last season, he had his best three-point shooting season of his whole entire career. And on way higher volume than he shot threes when he was with Miami in 2013, which was the next highest efficiency season for him from 3. But I mean, and I think he's just practicing threes more. Like, he just keeps on practicing the 3 ball. He knows that can prolong his career in terms of high scoring and still being able to get his 25. And the thing is his locomotive nature and transition still at his age is I really don't know what to say about it at this point. I've run out of superlatives. It's hard to imagine a human being can still be, doing this. Damn, everybody left. Went from Clippers, it was at 30, and now it's down to 7 people. But it's okay. I'll still talk about you Laker fans for the Lakers. Because I know a lot of my Laker listeners are on audio as well. But, yeah, it was insane. But you know what I really thought was noticeable from this game was that without Luka, you saw Austin Reeves be able to really dominate the ball and do his thing. And Austin, honestly, gets in the paint really well. He gets to the basket. He gets fouls. And he and LeBron just put up an absolute masterclass. Defensively, I think the Lakers were solid walling off the paint, but I think the Blazers shooting is just not good. They shot 32% from 3. They didn't have DeAndre Ayton. Jeremy Grant looked like not even an NBA player in this game. He made 1 3, and the rest of the game, he looked like a complete clown. Fouled out, 3 points on 1 for 12 shooting. I remember I was saying that maybe he'll end up having as good of a career maybe as Horace Grant. I don't know what crack I was smoking back then to say that, but nah. He could maybe win 1-on-1, but no, he's not a better basketball player than a 5-on-5. Tomani Kamara shot really well, though. He was 7 for 8 from the field and 3 for 4 from 3. And man, how much could he help the Suns right now if he was on the Suns? Because they traded him with Ayton. Denny Avdia had a really good scoring game. He got to the line a lot, 28 points, 4 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals on 9 for 14 shooting, 2 for 3 from deep. But Anthony Simons shot terribly, 3 for 13 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3. Scoot Henderson, 4 for 13 from the field, 2 for 8 from 3. And then Shaedon Sharpe, 4 for 11 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3. So really bad shooting games all the way around from them. They shot 44% from the field, 32% from 3, but I think for the Blazers, they only ended up losing by 8, 102 to 110. Free throws were a big problem for them. 14 for 21 from the line. Anthony Simons, 2 for 5. And Jeremy Grant, 0 for 2. As far as the Lakers, I mean, it was actually a quieter game from Rui in terms of scoring, even though he played 35 minutes, just 6 points for him, but he had 12 rebounds. So finding other ways to make an impact and getting 4 offensive rebound, that was good to see, especially after that rough, if you're a Laker fan, of course. When I say this stuff, I'm looking at it from like a Laker fan's perspective. But okay, 23 people in here. It seems like people do care about enough. When you talk about the Lakers long enough, the Laker fans will find their way somehow. But I think if you're a Laker fan, after seeing Rui have that rough game, and I don't think Rui Hachimura will be a Laker after this season, personally. I think that they want someone that's like a little bit more of I think hypothetically, Rui Hachimura would be a really good bench player on a championship level team. But I think they want someone that's just a little better defensively, a little higher IQ, and probably more consistent 3-point shooter. I think that's what they want around Luka and LeBron a little bit more. But I think I was just saying, for the general short term, it was good to see after that, tough ending he had against the Charlotte Hornets, for him to contribute in a win, even though he only scored 6 points. So 6 points, 12 rebounds, 1 assist on 3 for 7 shooting, 0 for 3 from deep. And the Lakers did not shoot well from 3 at all in this game. They shot 48% from the field, which was higher than the Blazers, but they shot just 9 for 32 from 3, and 4 of those 9 were from LeBron. But the free throws, I think that is the biggest thing. 23 for 25. Austin Reeves and LeBron were a combined 20 for 21 from the foul line. And that's because they were constantly aggressive. They were looking to push the ball in transition. And yeah, they had a great game. 40 points for LeBron. 40 at age 40. It's unbelievable. I mean, he's the longevity GOAT. There's no doubt about it. He's not my GOAT. I don't have a GOAT, but I know for a fact it's not going to be LeBron. But longevity-wise, is no debate. I question if he's like, you know what I'm going to say, but like I'm not going to say because I don't want to say it. And I don't want to put that in the air because I do respect LeBron. I hope the integrity of basketball has not been violated, but it's wild to see somebody moving like this at 40. It's not normal for him to do the stuff that he's doing. And maybe he is. And I already acknowledge, whether he's, I appreciate this super chat. Austin Reeves is a complete basketball player, and he's someone who's improved every year, and it's an absolute joy to watch one of our young guys grow. I appreciate that, the super chat, Daniel Higgins, and I do agree. It's nothing. It's great to have homegrown guys. What I was going to say about LeBron was obviously, he is doing things physically that we've never seen. I hope that there's no certain substances that are, PEDs, obviously. Because at this point, it's like you have to question. Like he's not hurt ever, and he never gets any serious injuries. But look, I already acknowledge whether he's on PEDs or not, that it's Wilt Chamberlain and LeBron as the best athletes in the history of basketball. Like, and then there's a gap. I mean, no, I'm not going to diss Jordan like that, to be honest with you. But I would put LeBron and Wilt over Mike. I would. Because Wilt could have played longer too. But Wilt had a patella, like he messed up his knee badly, but he still came back that same season, which is ridiculous. Wilt and LeBron are my top 2 athletes in the history of basketball, but it's different when you get to see LeBron every night. I didn't get to see Wilt every night, but I put in my research. But I don't know, man. What LeBron's doing is insane. The fact that I'm even questioning it just shows how great he is. Because if he's not, by all means, there's something. This guy's not. This is not a human being. Who is this guy's? I mean, we do know. I've seen that picture of his dad, and that fully is his dad in that picture. But whoever that guy is, I wonder how athletic he was, because this guy is like not normal. 40 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. And one thing I was really impressed with LeBron and Austin Reeves, they stopped multiple fast breaks in transition, just getting their body under the hoop. When in doubt, young hoopers, Get your body under the hoop, because worst case, you're forcing a floater or an open mid-range as opposed to an open layup and running, if you step up foul line or something, you're, zigging and zagging left and right, and they can, spin you around. So LeBron, 14 for 24 from the field, 4 for 8. So he shot 16 twos. He was very aggressive. You saw him in the mid-range. You saw him hitting floaters. And in the fourth quarter, he went to another level. And you saw that in the Hornets game too. He had 12 points in the fourth, and Austin Reeves had 11 in the fourth and played the entire thing. So just an amazing performance by both of them. Austin Reeves had 32 points and 7 assists, and 2 steals and 2 blocks to go along with it. On 9 for 21 shooting, just didn't shoot well from 3. He was 2 for 8 from 3. Gabe Vincent was 2 for 7 from the field and 1 for 6 from 3. Had 7 points off the bench. So not too great in the 3-point shooting department. Dorian Finney-Smith shot well, though, and he played some good defense. Sorry. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers on 4 for 7 shooting and 2 for 5 from 3 for Dorian Finney-Smith. Dalton Connect was 0 for 2. Shake Milton, 0 for 1. Jordan Goodwin, 0 for 1, and played 20 minutes. Got 5 rebounds and an assist. You know who I thought wasn't bad? Trey Jemison. Thought he was rolling to the basket well, finishing strong. He had 6 points and 4 rebounds on 3 for 5 shooting. The one thing I want to emphasize again to Laker fans is you're seeing with both bigs, the Lakers are trying to switch 1 through 5. The Lakers are trying to switch their 5-man onto the perimeter and try to, prevent your open threes and your pick and roll advantages by switching. Jackson Hayes actually hit a push shot in this game. I called him out for not being able to hit anything but layups and dunks, and he had a nice push shot in this game. He had 9 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block, and a turnover on 4 for 7 shooting in 28 minutes. I think it's fair to say that Jackson Hayes is playing the best basketball of his career right now and the most relevant basketball of his career right now. But if we're being honest, 3 guys were in double figures, Dorian Finney-Smith, and then 2 guys with a combined 72 points. It was a LeBron and Austin Reeves show, and they did a good job getting this win. And it's interesting with LeBron. It's like there are certain teams that he plays where he just has such an intellectual and experience advantage, and honestly a skill advantage, where he can just do whatever he wants, and he often toys with the competition. And it's like, I've seen very few things like that at the NBA level. He can just get whatever shot he wants for his team and just outsmarts these young teams. It's pretty funny. And by the way, there was some really bad fast breaks run by the Blazers. Like, release the ball quicker, man. But anyway, good win for the Lakers. Unfortunate for my Clips because we were chasing them down. They're now 33-21. And LeBron was able to pull off that back-to-back. Their next game will be on Saturday against the Nuggets in Denver. So the Nuggets are rolling right now. So we'll see if they can win that. And we'll see if we can see Luka. That'll be fun to see Luka against Jokic. But good win. And the question is, though, like for the Lakers, how complicated is it going to be when you get Austin Reeves with Luka and LeBron? You know what I mean? That's the question. What's it going to be when you get Austin Reeves with them? How much is he going to have to sacrifice? Can he play his game? There is some validity to the there's only one ball thing. It's just like, a matter of, the sacrifice that they're making. Will it end up leading to Austin Reeves getting benched? I don't know. I think JJ wants his ability to attack off the catch and do stuff like that and catch and shoot. So we'll see. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. I don't know when the next time I'll be live is. Saturday night, maybe not, but appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know what you think in the comments of Clippers and the Lakers. And check out my recent videos. One I opened up more than I ever have, but everything that went down the last month. The other one, Lakers, Hornets, and of course, Locked on Clippers 5 days a week. Peace, and have a great afternoon.